Major spoilers ahead. Fortnite Save the World has been my bread and butter for over a year and a half now. I've been making content and streaming and playing the game for over a year, putting my time and energy into making videos, guides, and everything like that. It all paid off with an epic trip to Epic Games a couple of weeks ago. And while we were there, this is something that we saw. When we loaded in to the test facility area and we all sat down and they loaded us into the little cave with the cars and the bones on the floor, I looked to my left and I looked to my right and I looked at the game developers and I said, this is an effing boss fight, isn't it? And all they had was this smile on their face. And I knew that finally I was going to have something that I've been wanting for this game for a very long time. So I'm going to tell you guys a quick little story. Back when Fortnite Save the World first came out, the Reddit only had about 4,000 members. I joined, I believe, at like 4,500, and about 2 months into playing Save the World, I had this idea. That I really wanted a boss fight in the game. I wanted instances, I wanted raids, I wanted things like that. So I cobbled together an idea of a boss fight and threw it on Reddit to see what kind of people, or see what kind of feedback I can get from other people. They hated it. My idea was have a boss, like a big boss like the Storm King he is, put him in a tight corridor like a missile silo and have different phases for him. The first one would be you had to kite smashers into his legs to knock him down a peg so you can start doing damage. Then you would have to build up and he would break your buildings, but the only way you could stop that was to bring a constructor to drop his base and he can no longer break your buildings. All of these ideas I was trying to incorporate using all the classes like you would in a normal MMO light or MMO kind of game. It was ragged on. I got so many downvotes, my head spun, and people hated it. And a year and a half later, look where we are now. This boss fight is fantastic. We're going to go over why it's so good, even though it might not be exactly what you want and or thought about. I'm going to tell you why it's great for the health of Fortnite Save the World. Fortnite Save the World, if they're doing stuff like this, it's not going anywhere. This boss fight is the epitome of a year and a half of work, and granted, it's not nearly as hard as I wanted it to be, but man, is it epic as hell. The music, the sound design, the cinematography, the way the boss fight works, it has phases. It's not just a bullet sponge. You have to think. It's not really fair to give a 100% accurate description because at this point in time, me and my friends are supremely overleveled for something like this. But if this is the direction that they plan on going, I cannot say anything except I am glad to be a part of this game. Let's talk first about how you actually beat the Storm King. What is he? Why is he here? And how to actually beat him. Because like I said, he's not just a bullet sponge. You'll spawn into a cave with a bunch of debris floating around and having no idea what you're looking for. Then all of a sudden you are teleported into basically an arena, and there's a big genie-esque monster is staring down at you, attempting to take you out. Now, you don't have many options to do damage at this point because he's kind of on a timer. And let's be honest, what in Fortnite isn't on a timer? But eventually, Ray is going to scan him and you are going to see his weak spots. So what should you do at this point? I would highly recommend a bundle bus or a Wraith or an old Betsy. Something very hard hitting so you can take out those weak points that Ray will discover very quickly. From that point, after you do it about 3 to 4 times, you have to shoot these weak points. He becomes weakened. He then lays down and you get to build up to his horns. once you get there, you have to simply take your pickaxe or any other melee weapon and break the horns. He will then lose one horn and you have to repeat it again. After doing that twice, you get to DPS him down. Now, you guys have to understand, this isn't a boss fight as you would think in most endgame situations. This is a boss fight for Canny Valley. That's it. Imagine if it was Dark Souls and the first boss you encounter might whoop your butt, but once you get all your gear and you become leveled, you can go down there and basically one-shot the guy. It's the same thing here. Although this boss is amazing looking and I wanted him to be more difficult, it just doesn't make sense. It's not that kind of boss fight yet. Hopefully, down the line, we can get higher level, more difficult, more complex boss fights. But for the moment, just know that this boss fight is for the end of Canny Valley, and as such, you should be around level 65 to 75 when you actually encounter him. Now, if this was me and I was first playing through Fortnite and I came across this without seeing it ever, I have to admit I would be quite impressed. The boss fight itself is a ton of fun. The rewards are actually worth it, even though since it's locked in Canny Valley, you cannot get legendary perk up. Everything about this boss fight I love. I don't care that it's super easy. The fact it's so damn cool makes me enjoy it. So that's how you beat him, but some viewers and some people like to test the maximum limit of playing this game. I used to be one of them. I no longer really am, but I'm going to address that as well. Apparently, the fastest times are about 1 minute and 40 seconds, and to get these times you need hard-hitting single-shot weapons like the old Betsy or the bundle bus, and then use a tank, penny, or hardware constructor. Use a crit chance, crit damage 6 feet under, that is the shovel, and when he falls, you hit him with the shovel, even though the game tells you to use your pickaxe. The shovel hits harder, he gets up faster, and you start the second phase. Same thing, repeat it, and then you DPS him down as soon as you can. So if you're into that kind of gameplay and you want to test your limits and see how fast you and your friends can kill the Storm King, by all means, go ahead and try it, but personally, I don't care much. I enjoyed just the fight itself. And I honestly want to touch on what this actually means more to Fortnite than, the best way to kill it. I wanted to bring you guys footage, of course, of the Storm King, because I know that quest line is painfully long and not everybody's going to get there as fast as they want to. So I wanted to just bring you my thoughts and opinions on it, make sure to get some meta stuff in there for you too. But I really want to talk about what this means for Fortnite. Just listen to the sound design when you enter this arena.
Stay sharp. Anything can happen over there. Stand by to transport over to the other side.
That is some top quality sound design. You feel threatened, you feel scared. These emotions run through your body and you're like, wow, this is amazing. This is what this game has been missing this entire time. Hopefully, we get some more down the road. In a time when Blizzard and Activision and Bethesda are ruining games and game companies one by one, there is one shining beacon of hope currently, and that is Epic Games. I've never seen a gaming company listen to their community as much as Epic Games at least tries to. Granted, they don't do everything perfect, but they can't. Their hands are tied in a lot of situations too, and we have to understand that. Bringing something like this when everybody says save the world is dying, or they don't care about us, or things like that, it's because they're working on monumental tasks like this. And bringing these kind of things into the game is amazing. We've been asking for this kind of stuff for a very long time now. At least I know I have, and I couldn't be happier that it's finally in the game. I love this boss fight so much that even though I don't need the materials, I still do it. I bring people on my stream who don't aren't even near this boss fight just so they can experience. People coming back, not being in my stream for a couple of months because they don't play Fortnite anymore. They see this boss fight and they boot it right up. Then they realize they have a lot of questing to do, but that's besides the point. They at least become reinterested in Fortnite. And doing things like this, having monstrous, momentous occasions like this, really bring a lot of energy that needs to be in Fortnite. The game has gone through such iterations from its base model to what it is now. Back when I started playing, it was pay to win. I mean, it wasn't pay to win, but it was pay to get anything new. You couldn't get schematics, you couldn't get heroes, you couldn't get anything unless you bought a llama. They have completely gone in a different direction, a total 180. You can upgrade everything in the game basically for free. They give V-Bucks away constantly. They have a battle pass that literally pays for itself, and you just can't really argue with their monetary practices. Sure, on Battle Royale they sell skins for $20, but the damn game is free. Enjoy what you can enjoy. The game in itself, things like this are what is going to keep people and longtime players like me keep coming back and enjoying new content. I cannot knock them in any way, shape, or form for doing what they're doing. I know a lot of the times it takes a long time to get any sort of new content out. But when they're big like this and they're awesome like this, can you really blame them? On a side note, when we did test this at Epic Game Studios, as soon as we finished it, I looked over at the developers and I said, it's too easy. I didn't realize at that point that it was a story mode boss and we were completely overpowered for it. When I figured that part out, I can understand why it's not as hard as I want it to be. That is my only complaint, that I want something a little more difficult, even if it just has more health or spawns more enemies or is more difficult to kill in some way. That's my only complaint about this thing. Otherwise, I love it. I love every single aspect of it. If you guys don't plan on getting here, I completely understand that. However, if you want to experience, just stop by the stream. I stream almost every single day at twitch.tv/roundedtiktak, same name as it is here on YouTube. You can stop by and say, hey, TikTak, I saw your Storm King video. Can you take me to him? I want to check him out. Whatever level you are, you could be level 10 for all I care. I would just want people to experience this boss fight. So hopefully, we'll see you around. Alright, that's it for this video, guys. I didn't know much to talk about as the boss fight doesn't need any technical explanations or is anybody going to wipe on it. I don't think I've met anybody who has actually died to the Storm King, but again, I play with a lot higher level players. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of this boss fight. Are you just getting there now through the storyline? If so, is it as awesome as it really seems to me, a longtime player? Have you beaten it? Do you plan on beating it? Are you still playing Fortnite? Let me know all of these things down in the comments below. I'll answer every single question you guys have. I really wish that it was a little more difficult so I could make guides and things like that. But for the moment, it is what it is, and I'm happy about that.